The American Pit Bull Terrier is a great dog known for its intelligence, strength, and loyalty. In recent years, the breed has been unfairly vilified as overly aggressive and dangerous. While the pit bull has a truly feisty and lively character, the history of the breed reveals a much more complex tapestry of temperament and personality. Like many modern breeds, it's impossible to be completely sure of the details of the American Pit Bull Terrier's long history. However, many pit bull enthusiasts believe the breed's origins can be traced back to ancient times and the Molossian dog family. The Molossian family of dogs is named after the people with whom they are most often associated, the Molossi tribe, a group of people living in ancient Greece who preferred the use of sturdy, muscular dogs in battle. Officially called canus Molossi, Molossi's dogs, these animals were known for their ruthlessness and innate ability to intimidate the tribe's enemies. It is also believed that Molossian dogs were used for other purposes during the same period. In fact, early Phoenician traders may even have used the Molossians as a bargaining chip in their business transactions. Molossians gave rise to another family of dogs known as mastiffs. Early Britons used a variation of mastiffs as pugnus, fighting dogs that could be used either in a guardianship or combat capacity. When the Roman Emperor Claudius defeated the Briton chief Caractacus in AD 50, powerful pugnaces were intrigued. He quickly seized the opportunity and began exporting certain quantities of dogs to his hometown to satisfy his compatriots' appetite for entertainment in Rome's arenas and colosseums. Upon their arrival in Rome, the English dogs were crossbred with their Roman counterparts. From AD 50 to AD 410, the breed was widely spread throughout the Roman Empire for use as war dogs. Along the way, they mixed with other native breeds in Europe, creating a genetic melting pot for the bulldogs, which are thought to be the ancestors of the American Pit Bull Terrier. Unfortunately, the Romans would not be the last to use pit bulls in brutal and grisly blood sports. When the Normans invaded England in 1066, they introduced a new sport called baiting. Interestingly enough, the baiting originated from butchers keeping dogs, called bullenbicers, to handle unruly bulls while they were taken to market for slaughter. When a bull crossed the line or displayed uncontrollable behavior, dogs would clamp on its nose and wait until the caretaker regained control of the unruly animal. Like most dog owners, butchers took pride in their stubborn tenacity when dealing with their canine companions and much larger and potentially dangerous bulls. As a result, pubic shows were held to showcase the dog's talents and, frankly, appease the crowds attending the bait events for their entertainment value. In the 16th century, almost every town in England had its own bait ring. The popularity of baiting events was unparalleled at the time, as was their ability to attract spectators from all levels of society. Their popularity was compounded by the misconception that prolonged torture makes meat tender. In baiting events, no more than 1 or 2 dogs were released onto the bull. They were trained to relentlessly harass bulls until they passed out from exhaustion, wounds, or both. These episodes lasted for long periods of time, sometimes up to 3 or 4 hours. Eventually, the public got fed up with the bulls and fed the dogs bears, pigs, horses, and even monkeys, giving the sport a creative flair. Edmund de Langley IV, Duke of York, in 1406. He wrote a short review for Henry entitled Lord of the Game and the Falcons. In it, he described a descendant of ancient mastiffs, which he called the Alaunt, the most widely used forage dog of the era. A 1585 painting of the Alaunt's hunting wild boar depicted lean, muscular animals that bore deep resemblances to the dogs we know as pit bulls. Baiting was made illegal by the British Parliament in 1835. But this law did little to satiate the public's desire to watch dogs perform in combat sports. As a result, their attention was turned to a variety of other pursuits, such as ratting, a practice in which a dog is thrown into a pit with varying numbers of rats. The dogs raced against time and each other to determine which could kill the most mice in the shortest amount of time. The pit in pit bulls comes from the fact that rats occur in a pit that prevents rats from escaping. Ultimately, the public's indecisive gaze was turned to the sport of dogfighting, as it could be more easily hidden from the prying eyes of the law than baiting and other combat sports. Because dogfighting requires smaller and more agile animals than those used for foraging, fighting bulldogs were bred with terriers known for their feistiness and tireless focus. The result was the bull and terrier, more commonly known as the first pit bull terrier, a muscular, canine gladiator bred specifically to fight other dogs. As you can imagine, dogfighting was an extremely brutal and sadistic pursuit. Dogfighters undergo a rigorous training process that deprives them of normal human contact and instills an intense desire to shed the blood of their opponents. It was not unusual for these dogs to be fed blood and raw meat and kept in complete darkness except for a few hours a day they spent training with their trainers. To further increase the dog's killing urge, keepers forced them to run on a stationary treadmill with a weaker animal in front of them but out of their reach. At the end of the exercise, the dogs were allowed to kill the animal as a reward. During a dogfight, dogs were expected to fearlessly attack their opponents without fear or hesitation. If a dog turned away, it was seen as a weakness and could be forfeited. Even if the hesitant beast was lucky enough to survive the encounter, it still didn't come out of the forest. Many trainers killed their own dogs because they believed that a dog that hesitated even once could no longer be trusted to fight with the enthusiasm and tenacity the sport requires. When British immigrants came to America, their dogs came with them. Not surprisingly, dogfighting was common in America during the 19th century. But as immigrants moved westward, the pit bull assumed a broader and more humane function. At the border, pit bulls took on the role of an all-purpose dog. Besides herding cattle and sheep, they served as loyal protectors, protecting families and livestock from the ever-present threat of thieves and wild animals. Despite their daring backgrounds, pit bulls faced a fierce battle for official recognition. The American Kennel Club was founded in 1884 with the sole purpose of promoting the interests of purebred dogs and their owners. To achieve this, they have sponsored events designed to test various breeds in the areas of performance and fitness. Conformation events judge dogs by breed standard, a predetermined set of guidelines that define each breed's most valuable physical traits. Performance events, on the other hand, test dogs for the function for which they were bred. Some of the more common performance categories include working, playing sports, and herding. Performance events posed an immediate problem for the pit bull, as the function in which they were bred fighting was illegal. Also, the AKC understandably refused to remotely endorse anything related to dogfighting. In response to the AKC's reluctance to include pit bulls as a bona fide breed, an alternative group was created in 1898, the UKC, United Kennel Club. The UKC's goal was to certify breeds that were not eligible for certification by the AKC. Not surprisingly, the UKC's founding member was the American Pit Bull Terrier. Ultimately, the AKC recognized the pit bull in 1936, but under the name Staffordshire Terrier, named after the region of England where crossing of bulldogs and terriers is thought to have begun. Today the AKC continues to include the American Staffordshire Terrier in its registry, but ironically this has become a different breed from its American Pit Bull Terrier cousin. Over the years, the American Pit Bull Terrier has become a beloved symbol of Americana. In World War I, a pit bull named Stubby captured the heart of the nation. Stubby was the unofficial mascot of the 102nd Infantry Division and gained a reputation for saving the lives of many human comrades. For his brave service, Stubby won several medals and was even awarded the rank of sergeant. He came home from the war like a hero and became the mascot of Georgetown University. Over the years, many famous Americans have owned pit bulls. Mark Twain, Theodore Roosevelt, Laura Ingalls Wilder, Thomas Edison, Woodrow Wilson, John Steinbeck, Helen Keller, and Fred Astaire are proud to have dogs of this breed. Actor Ken Howard, father of the TV show Crossing Jordan, even credits the pit bull for saving his life. Pit bulls have infiltrated the hearts of Americans in various ways. For years, the RCA registrar looked to a pit bull as their corporate logo. Similarly, Buster Brown Shoes used a pit bull as the cornerstone of their marketing campaign. However, perhaps the most famous pit bull was the adorable ring-eyed Petey, featured on the TV show Little Rascals. Petey quickly established himself as a national treasure alongside Alfalfa, Spanky, and other infamous. A little-known fact about Petey is that the narrative ring actually changes from one eye to another between seasons of the TV show. While no one knows for sure why this happened, it is said that the original Petey was poisoned and was replaced by a similar person with similar, or at least similar markings that required an eye replacement. Today, the American Pit Bull Terrier is a beloved pet used in a variety of helping functions in the community, including police dogs, search dogs, therapy dogs, and farm dogs. Despite this, the negative publicity has caused many cities to denounce them as a community issue. This perception was bolstered by the prevalence of illegal dogfights in cities and small towns across America. In recent years, gangs have taken an interest in dogfighting and have elevated the ownership of trained fighting dogs as a status symbol. Pit bulls have taken on the brunt of the backlash due to their popularity among dogfighters. This has caused the public to demand legal action against pit bulls. Bowing to pressure from their constituents, public officials have banned pit bulls in many civil jurisdictions, and others are following suit, including insurance companies that reserve the right to cancel a homeowner's policy if a pit bull is found on the property. The negative treatment of pit bulls in our society is unfortunate to say the least. If given the opportunity, pit bulls and humans can live in harmony. Training is an important consideration in pit bull ownership. The breed's history shows that if not properly trained and socialized at a young age, this strong-minded dog will quickly try to dominate the household. However, with proper training, the American Pit Bull Terrier can become an extremely loyal and valued member of the family.